Prime Minister takes on more responsibility in cabinet reshuffle while bringing Floyd Green back into the fold. Policeman suffers fractured leg after being hit by a motorcyclist in St. Elizabeth yesterday. Several cases of hand, foot and mouth disease and scabies in Westmoreland. And woman to be sentenced in Cayman later this month after enslaving a 12-year-old boy from Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has taken on more responsibility in his latest cabinet reshuffle while also bringing Floyd Green back into the fold. The updated executive was announced yesterday through a press release. And as Debbie and Wright reports, the persons making up the cabinet remain largely unchanged, but with a few noticeable adjustments to their portfolios.
Last month, Prime Minister Andrew Holness indicated a cabinet reshuffle was on the cards for the new year. The hint from Mr. Holness came as his administration faced heavy criticism amid several scandals involving the Ministry of Mining and Transport, headed by Robert Montague. Now, Mr. Holness has stripped Mr. Montague of those responsibilities, bringing him into the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation as a minister without portfolio. That ministry, which is headed by the Prime Minister, now includes the Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change portfolios. Everald Warmington and Matthew Samuda are also ministers without portfolio in the ministry. Meanwhile, Mr. Holness has taken on responsibility for information, which now comes under the office of the Prime Minister. This is also where he has placed former Agriculture Minister Floyd Green, who has been returned to the cabinet as a minister without portfolio. Robert Morgan has also been brought into the office of the Prime Minister with an upgrade from State Minister to Minister without portfolio. Pernell Charles Jr. is now the Agriculture Minister, while Audley Shaw has been sent to take charge of Transport and Mining. And Senator Aubin Hill takes over the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, which has again been separated from the Agriculture Ministry. In the meantime, a new ministry has been created called the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, which will be headed by Marlene Malahoo Fort, who is leaving behind the role of Attorney General. The new Attorney General is Dr. Derek McCoy, who is a former Contractor General of Jamaica and a former Dean of the Faculty of Law at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. The assignments remain the same for the other portfolios. Debbie Anuraj reporting for Radio Jamaica News.
And the newly appointed ministers will be sworn in at a virtual ceremony today. A statement from the Office of the Prime Minister says the changes take into account the need for greater focus and attention on constitutional and legal reform, as well as improving the pace of development and the passage of legislation through the Parliament. It said the changes are also designed to facilitate greater coordination and synergy of resources on further increasing the number of housing solutions at affordable prices, as well as the development and pursuit of new economic opportunities. A man who robbed cellular phone stores in Halfway Tree St. Andrew yesterday and tried to escape in a bus was nabbed by the police. His identity is being withheld at this time. About midday, a group of men robbed 2 stores and fled. One of the men boarded a bus. The police intercepted the bus and the robber was caught. The bus was searched and a .45 pistol and 5 rounds of ammunition seized. The police said 20 cellular phones stolen from the stores were also discovered. And a man was taken into custody following an incident which left a policeman with a fractured leg in St. Elizabeth yesterday. About 11 a.m., the policeman was hit by a motorcycle while conducting an operation in the vicinity of the Horizon Park housing scheme near Santa Cruz. The driver of the motorcycle escaped. However, the pillion was held. The policeman has been admitted to hospital. The St. Elizabeth police say the pillion has refused to give the name and address of the motorcyclist. For the second time in a month, another parish is reporting cases of hand, foot and mouth disease. The Westmoreland Health Department says there have been 12 reported cases of the viral illness in 8 communities over the past 2 months. The communities include Seaton Crescent, Farm Pen, Chantilly, Hudson Street, Millers Avenue, Top Road in Little London, Georges Plain, and Shrewsbury in Petersfield. The individuals were diagnosed at health centers in Westmoreland. In an interview with JIS News, Parish Health Promotion and Education Officer Gerald Miller said the illness is common in infants and children under 5 years old, but can also be transmitted to older children and adults. He explained that the disease spreads easily in child care facilities due to frequent diaper changes and because young children often put their hands in their mouths. The Westmoreland Health Department has placed educational institutions on alert. Initial signs of the disease include fever, loss of appetite, sore throat, and a feeling of malaise. These symptoms generally last 1 to 2 days before a blister-like rash appears on the hands, feet, and in the mouth. In December, Radio Jamaican News reported that Clarendon was experiencing an increase in cases of the viral illness. Meanwhile, several cases of scabies have been detected in Westmoreland. The health department is urging parents and schools to be vigilant as the skin disease is found among mostly children. It is spread through close personal contact. Scabies is an infestation caused by tiny mites which settle on the outer layers of the human skin, then burrows and lays eggs inside the skin. A woman is to be sentenced in Cayman later this month after enslaving a 12-year-old boy from Jamaica. According to Cayman News Service, 59-year-old Lurline Henry Smith admitted the allegations of child cruelty when she appeared in court on Friday. The woman convinced the boy's family to let her take him to Cayman, where she could send him to school and give him a better life. Instead, the boy was locked in her home, abused, and treated as a slave. He was never enrolled in school and after several months ran away and reported the matter to the authorities, which triggered an investigation. The family of a Jamaican man who was shot and killed under questionable circumstances in Pennsylvania in the U.S. last month is speaking out and demanding answers from the authorities. Peter Spencer's relatives say they want to know what led to their loved one being shot 9 times in Venango County. Action for News in Pittsburgh aired this report.
We have no hatred, no malice, but we want justice. We want justice.
29-year-old Peter Spencer's father wants answers on why his son was shot to death in Venango County in December. Officials say he was shot 9 times. Now the family is holding on to memories of the man who they say was a natural leader and a chef.
I still want my son, but it is impossible to get him back. So his name will live on.
They say Spencer was a Jamaican immigrant seeking the American dream for himself and unborn child before his life was cut short. Officials say Spencer was found on Carl's Road in Rockland Township after spending time with a former co-worker and others. The state police's Heritage Affairs team is involved that looks into responding to hate or bias-related crimes. The family is now demanding the Venango County District Attorney's Office turn the case over to the PA Attorney General's Office. Their attorney, Paul Jupas, says they're also demanding the DA immediately turn over all forensic reports to him. And they want a 911 call possibly related to the death released. Forensic pathologist Dr. Cyril Wecht completed a second autopsy on the body.
He had multiple gunshot wounds of his body, including some that entered into his back and toward the backside of his neck.
He's waiting to see the report from the first autopsy before releasing final findings. So have you ever seen a case like this with no charges being filed?
Certainly not 9 wounds, and certainly not one case in which there were wounds through the back.
We've made repeated requests to the Venango County District Attorney's Office for an update on Spencer's case, but have not gotten a response for weeks.
That report from Action for News in Pittsburgh. And the Pennsylvania Legislative Black Caucus has released a statement on the case involving the 29-year-old Jamaican immigrant. The group said while it urged patience in the investigation into Peter Spencer's death, it is demanding that justice be served. It disclosed that it will await an independent investigation by the Pennsylvania State Police. In the U.S., a new record has been set for the number of people admitted to hospital with COVID-19, with 132,646 currently in wards. The latest figure, which comes as the highly contagious Omicron strain spreads across the country, surpassed the record of 132,051 set in January last year. Pfizer Incorporated's chief executive Albert Bourla yesterday said moving toward a redesigned COVID-19 vaccine that is specifically targeted to combat the Omicron variant is the most likely scenario.